Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is well. And this is the 29th of the 12th, 2024. And I'm going to do the rest of the book over the next couple of days. It's got 8 chapters left. And I hope you will have a beautiful new year. And I hope you had a beautiful Christmas. I did. So we're going to start at chapter 30. And you can see all the other chapters in the playlist. That is called The Gifts That Bind Us, and it is by Caroline Donahue for those that have come in for the first time. And it's quite eerie and scary, and it is really great fun reading this book for you. I hope you like it as well, so please do let me know. Leave a reaction in the description box or below the description box. Chapter 30. Once we are on the street, my entire body starts shaking. ARRON's not saying anything, but his face is tied up in worry, wondering whether what just happened has damaged me irreparably, or whether it's a get over it in an afternoon kind of thing. He's curious too, I think. He's wondering whether I'm used to this sort of magic. The kind that is visible, fearsome, vicious, and I'm not really. My hands are still shaking, my knees knocking. Come on, he says, we are going in here. I look up and see that here is Shanty's, an old man's pub on the hill leading from St. Bernadette's and into town. Inside, everything is dark, mahogany and green, cushioned chairs. There's a fire in the grate and 2 plush armchairs facing it. He sits me down in one of and go to the bar. A few minutes later he's back with 2 pints of Guinness, ooh, nice one, and a packet of scampi fries. Well, I rather have vinegar and salt and vinegar chips. If the circumstances and the company were different, I think I would find this quite exciting, drinking in a cosy pub on a school day. I don't like Guinness, is all I can say, and I don't. It's for old men and for tourists. Just drink it, he says shortly. It's got iron. So I take a sip and find that I'm actually grateful for it. It's thick and creamy, sharp and dark. I slug it down, then wipe at my top lip for foam. What were you doing back there? I ask eventually. ARRON tears open the packet of scampi fries, sniffs them cautiously, and then starts to eat. Well, are these fish? He says disgustingly. Then he puts them to one side. Back there that was my gift. My gift with the volume turned way up because of that room. That awful room. It's the well, isn't it? The well is St. Bernadette's. This clearly had not occurred to him. Okay, then a tinge of excitement. Jesus, okay, wow, shh, what did you think was happening? Just like a very strong hot spot. But you are right, I've never had a hot spot that's strong. It must be the centre of the Kilbeg well. I eye him suspiciously. Why don't you know any of this? You were like the children of Bridget, poster boy here for years. Less than a year, he's gone back to the scampi fries. Again, still curious. He takes one out, examines it, eats it. Everything changed for me when I came to Kilbeg. They were very pleased with me, like the minute I came down here. This big current of power starts flowing through, and I have got a connection to the little teenagers who are generating it all. Before that, I was nobody, just another master manipulator in their ranks. He crunches the scampi fry, decides he does like it, and eats another. That thing you said, he continues, about the holes. I can see the holes. It's more than that. I can make other people see their holes. Like it's someone has a bad memory or a thing they hate about themselves. I can focus their mind so that's all they see. And with her just now, you're Miss Banbury, that's what I was doing. I don't understand. I say, although I do, kind of. That voice in my head telling me that life would be better if I wasn't in it. That was ARRON making that happen. That was being inside the jockey at the moment in time when his gift was in full flow. You know that your stomach aches you get when you remember a time when you were selfish or mean or stupid. It feels physical, doesn't it? It feels like food poisoning. That's what was happening to her, all over her body. Every horrible thing she's ashamed of, every evil thing she's done that she can normally convince herself was fine because, oh, I don't know. People always find a way to convince themselves that their terrible actions were actually fine and justified. Yeah, I snipped. Look who I'm talking to. He ignores this. All that came to her. At the same time, no defenses, just the pure, crushing weight of it. I'm floored by this. There's nothing I can do except drink my Guinness and try to wrap my head around it. Suddenly, everything that Fiona, Rue, Lily and I can do seems like nothing to make people feel accountable for their actions. To the point that it's painful for them. I remember the kids at the apartment when Rue and I went to the children of Bridget meeting, how they opened their guts to ARRON, crying about the most minor moral infractions. It was so confusing to me then, but it makes utter sense now. And even I'm grateful to ARRON for getting me out of the chuki alive, and even though I do sort of believe that he sincerely regrets his actions, I find myself burning with rage all over again. You could do anything with that gift, I say, spitting out the words. You could. I don't know. You could make Jeff Bezos pay his taxes with that gift. You could end wars. If you got in the right room, you should be in government with a gift like that, not wasting your time and your brain and your life going around to provisional Irish cities, making vulnerable people feel horrible about themselves. He's still looking at me, unmoved, eating scampi fries. These are pretty good actually, he says, once you get used to the fishiness. How are you going to palm me off with that? I rage. This is serious. You should be helping people. Look, Maeve, I'm willing to work with you. Excuse me. I'm willing to work with you. I am willing to put in the hours it takes or makes things right with me and the world. But I'm not going to sit here and be lectured by a 16-year-old who doesn't know a hot spot from a hole in the ground. I'll say whatever I want to say, I snap, not backing down. We are the same. I'm sensitive too. I should be able to hold you accountable if anyone can, like doctors. And is that what you plan to do with your gift then? Save the world? Run for Taoti's arc? I crossed my arms. Maybe. I'll alert the dial. Shut up. I don't know what that means, dial. He sits back, dropped the empty bag on the table next to him. He dusts his fingers off on the palms of his hands and then folds them on his lap. Number 1, he says, in an irritated tone. You have to understand that up until about 6 weeks ago, I thought I was saving people. The Bible is firm on gay sex. The Bible is firm on profligate behavior. The Bible is firm on abortion. I roll my eyes. If the Bible told you to jump off a cliff a month ago, Maeve, probably because that's what being a certain kind of Christian is, you don't have to understand that. But what you do have to understand is I truly thought I was saving people with my whole heart. Well, you were wrong. Yes, I suspect now that I was, he snaps. Number 2, my gift doesn't work any different than your gift or the gifts of the best friends gang. He says it with such exhaustion, and like he's said it before, the best friends gang. What I do to people isn't permanent and often isn't very strong. The only reason it was strong a minute ago was because of the hotspot. The room was pouring out magic, and I've learned how to focus and ride the wave and energy when I sense it. I have a little more technique than you do, but I have the same amount of power. So even if I did get in a room with Jeff Bezos, he would only decide to treat warehouse workers fairly for 5 minutes. Right now, Miss Banbury is getting up off the floor and planning her next move. That's what he was working against, to protect Maeve. You can see that in the previous chapter. When I'm in the restroom, I have a cross yet enlightening thought. What if the bind only lasts as long as the spell is in my system? Can I get rid of ARRON through peeing? She drank lavender water, which was magic, or there was a spell on it to bind him to Maeve. It seems simple enough that it might work, so I start ordering pints of water and chucking them. Drinking them. We get to Nuella's house early. Manon is there already and lets us in. I'm halfway through the story of what happened to us at school when Nuella comes in, and I have to start again. The mouth of the well is the school. Manon marvels, and she says merde. So that's French. She comes from Paris. So that means S-H-T, okay? I thought that sort of made sense, I say limply. Because me and Heaven, Nuella, neither of us were meant to go to St. Bernadette's, were we? Nuella picks up on my train of thought right away. No, she says, her eyes like saucers. No, you weren't. Does anyone mind if I smoke? Manon says, already taking out a tobacco pouch. No, Nuella replies, leaning against the kitchen counter. She looks in utter shock. Roll me one, won't you? Manon does So, and hands the cigarette to her mother. Nuella crouches down and lights it off the gas stove. Manon's face is full of concern as she holds back Nuella's platinum blonde hair while the blue fire flickers. Nuella takes a long drag, leans against the counter again. All my life, Nuella murmurs as she exhales. I've been angry at that school. Somehow I hadn't bargained for how this information would impact Nuella. I'm used to treating her like my problem solver. I often just spill information on her and I rarely think about what it does to her, what it triggers. Everything bad that happened to us started with St. Bernadette's, she says tensely. My father got worse after heaven got in, worse on her for thinking she was better than him. He had to leave school at 12, didn't even have a junior certificate, and worse on my mother for filling out the paperwork. And, I almost agreed with him. She never had time for me after St. Bernadette's, always stayed late, planning for her supposedly bright future. She said it was the only place she felt safe. Nuella's voice cracks on the word safe, and she takes another drag, as if bandaging the wound with a ribbon of smoke. She inhales sharply, her teeth hissing. She did her ritual at the school, That's where she saw the housekeeper first. Manon nods silently, as if adding this information to her mental folder on Wells, rather than registering that Nuella is talking about the death of her aunt. I always thought it was a mistake that she ever went there, Nuella says, tipping her ash into the sink. But it wasn't. It was, it was destiny, I suppose, Manon says, takes a pen from the bun in her hair and tears the cupboard off the nearby cereal box. I think that's not the cupboard, the cover, I think that's what they meant. There's a few spelling mistakes in this book. She starts to write. ARRON is looking at his hands, together again on the kitchen table with the crossed thumbs. I don't know why, but I find this infuriating way to sit still. His hands just clasped like in a 1950s schoolboy waiting for an apple from the teacher. Do you think destiny is real, Miss Evans? For a second, I wonder who he is talking to. I think even Nuella does. Oh, me, she says, slightly dazed. Well, I expect her to have a ready answer for this. I'm afraid I don't quite know, ARRON. In this case, it seems destiny has been at work. Destiny or divine coincidence. He nods and looks at his hands again. I thought I knew my destiny, he says. Saving people from hell was a good solid destiny. Then there is nothing but the scratch of Manon's pen. A minute later the doorbell rings. It's the girls, I say, getting up. I'll get it. I meet them at the door. The evening is cold, their breath visible in the air. Where were you today? Fiona says, bursting in the door. Everything was weird again. Did you change your hair? Weird? How? Weird like that backward glasses. Weird like people holding their books upside down. Does Nuella have any food? I'm starving. Ooh, okay. I'm behind her, still in the hallway, but I know what she's reacting to. Who she's reacting to. What the F is he doing here? And that is the end of that chapter. On to chapter 31. Take care and I'll see you there. Bye bye. What do you think is going to happen?